Let's see what the card says. It's blank. But apparently everyone's thinking of you. Oh well. So yeah, I redid it because the first one is, yep, it's the end. But that wasn't done. And I did the last couple of things of like, ghosts! And then I've done predicting the future. Because technically this is fitting. Because this is in the future. About the future. It talks up with the future. And that's the whole thing. And I like it. It's all about preventing the inevitability that changes. And I also like the idea that it changes itself. The future changes. Which I like. This is going to be shorter. Definitely this one and the next one. But the reason why is because I'm sad. But let's talk more about that. It's not going to be a short, but shorter. Because the last ones were 10, 10, 10. Or 2 10s. But I think this is good. I like the story. I have talked about the actors being good. I have talked about all of this. And I do like the story. But one of the things with the story, because I want to focus on the story and then the other bit, which impacts my feelings on this. So, the one thing I like about the story, and I really do like it, is the whole thing, because this secret, because I've said in the past, I still don't believe they should have told about the family and told about this. Even when I was watching, I think there's a couple of streams where I talked about it and being like, this could be helped with saying the truth. There's a whole thing on story about hiding the secrets, and I'm like, do you know what? With what is at stake with some people, I feel like they should tell. And with some of them, like, oh yeah, we don't know what's down here in this thing, and we're gonna lock it up. My question is, how does that help? It's, oh, this is happening, we're gonna lock this up, we're not gonna talk about this. That doesn't help the solution. Because hiding stuff for what I'm used to, and that's one of the things that slightly annoyed me in this. There's a lot of like, oh, there's a thing that we don't know, lock it up. And there's a lot of things like, oh yeah, back in here, in this thing. And there's so many, that moment I don't like. I do like the other thing. The only secret which I do get, and someone understand, even though I'm like, at my thing, I was like, this is not helping. They're looking into this. At the end of the day, when they found the border, they should have said most things. But I get where it's at the point where it's like, you're in a coma. And it's like, that's not great. It's like, that should have like been told. But it's hard to tell someone, by the way, I saw your future. You're in a coma. That's a bit like dark. But I like the idea that the ghost from the present hears and they're talking about the future. And it's like, oh, wait, this is bad. So I'm going to speed up what I'm doing. Which is really interesting. I also like the idea of looking into the future. That idea in general, I think it's fun. But with this whole thing, I'm not a fan of the sort of series ending. Because obviously it ended with another twist like the other two. Season 1 ended with, by the way, you have a photo in the past. Season 2 ended with literally the whole, what they're planning to do with Season 3. And Season 3 ended with, hi, I'm your child. Which is like legitimately is a odd thing. Maybe that's one reason why it was removed. Because that's an odd conversation to have, like, by the way, I'm your child. I'm like, okay, that's a thing. That's a thing that has happened. Got it. And I'm like, if, like, some people are like, yeah, I don't think. So, yeah, I get that, but I'm annoyed that we just left it on a cliffhanger. So yeah, I have said that this is going to be shorter compared to the last two, which both were 10. And mostly because I'm realizing having too many 10 reviews is not really helpful and does extend a long one. So sometimes there'll be a 10. And because Season 1 and 2 I like, and Season 3 I'm not as big as a fan of, so I'm doing this. But I still think it's good. I am annoyed that I get a cliffhanger. I don't know what they're going to do with the season and if they're going to announce what they did plan for it, because that would be something I would be excited to know. like what was the plan for like season 4 if it would have, and or if it would have just carried on with the cliffhanger, so it would have had an excuse for being like, yes, there's more story to tell. Because legitimately, without the cliffhanger, I would have loved it. It would have been like, we looked into the past to save this person, and we did good things. But if you look into the past, sometimes you see some of the darkest things, including in this season, which looks into the past, it's about a murder, and it's really interesting. And it could get messy, and it could affect the future. So sometimes we just live in the present. So if they just ended up with just like, and we should just stay in the present. Did I hear something? Oh no, something just dropped, and they left. I would have preferred that because they could have been like, that's a good season. We don't need any more, but yeah. Yeah, I just ended on 6 minutes because then I could just do this thing. But yeah, I think it's good. I think it's entertaining. And good night.